Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV. We are excited to be here with you, and we hope that you are telling all your friends about Primetime because we are here using this platform in order to help you live a better quality of life, give you a few tips here and there with people that really know what they're talking about. And today is kind of like a wrap-up for the month. I call it a month in review for the month of August. So thank you for joining us. We have our special guest who is coming on from Utah, which is Mary Louise Zeller, in just a split second. And we also have, back by popular demand, Chrisula Gause. It's so great to have you with us again, and I know you have a lot of stories to share. And of course, the champ is back.
Good to be back.
It is really good to be back. We have a lot to share today, so thanks for joining us. But without further ado, I do want to bring in Mary Louise Zeller so that we can get her going. We have no videos in the show today. It's going to be simply an open microphone for all of us so that we can share what we've learned over time and pass on some tips on good health, good living, and how to deal with this crazy you-know-what. I'm not even going to give it the name, but you know what I'm talking about. How we can live a better quality of life, build our immune system, and all kinds of things. Help us with better energy, help us with more positivity, and one of the biggest, craziest words that is affecting everyone, especially as the kids go back to school today in some areas, is stress. We are all stress masters here. So speaking of masters, let's go ahead and introduce, oh boy, 9-time world martial arts champion and master Mary Louise Zeller, who is stellar. Welcome in once again, my friend.
Thank you so very much. This is fun. And I don't know, I think you're doing a great job, Barbara. It's just, you're making a difference, and it's my privilege to participate with champions and make a difference with you.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that, Mary Louise, and thank you for all those compliments. My husband always talks about everyone was born a champion. He calls it they were the fastest swimmer. Right, Master Kelly?
Yeah, they got there first.
Well, you know, it's not just learning to be a champion in a world of sports or whatever it is that we're doing. It's being a champion in life, and it's about learning, and it's lifelong learning. I can't believe some of the things I'm learning today, and especially since you came knocking on our door.
Oh, my God.
Came knocking on Chrisula's door as well, and it's just really nice to have a platform with We Being TV to be able to produce these shows that we've been doing now for, gosh, it's going on 7 years. And it gives us a chance to really expose some of the things that we don't want to keep behind the scenes. We want to bring them forward. And as we introduced for the last month, Mary Louise's inspirational video that we would bring out to let you see that there's always hope, there's always ways to get out of our own way, and that's what we're doing today. So, Mary Louise, I thought we would kind of just have an open mic today, as I mentioned before, and talking about the importance of building our immune system. Why are antioxidants so important? And with you being a biologist for 25 years, right?
Right.
You know the human body. You know how the cells work. My husband's a sport nutritionist certified. He knows as well. You think maybe that might have something to do with both of you becoming world champions? And then, not to mention Chrisula, who just keeps on keeping on with her triathlons and keeps winning and just is always learning more and more and more. So we got a great team right here. The legacy team.
Yeah, you know, I had the privilege of spending 25 years challenging myself in the martial arts, starting off, reinventing myself really after Adam's accident, taking on something new. So when we look at elements, there's that taking on something new. But I love my background in science. Now, you know, you say you know the human body. I don't think it is knowable.
There's a good point.
Yes.
We're always learning and growing, and today's world is not the same. You talk about antioxidants, and Tufts University did a study and about the antioxidant value of foods, but the Japanese did a 50-year study, and they determined that the modern world if you're eating real food, and a lot of people are eating plastic food, what I call, the packaged, refined food. But if you're eating real food as it comes from the ground, as it's grown and produced, you're only getting 25% of the nutrition you got in your food 50, 60 years ago. That was proven in that Japanese study over 50 years.
I'm not surprised.
So there are three major causes of disease and rapid aging in the human body. I mean, I'm 76, but I'm not your usual 76-year-old. I'm just aging differently. And I say that my commitment, my research into nutrition and supplementation for the human body has something to do with it. Exercise, yes. Mental, mindset is very, very important for the human body. But these three major causes of disease and rapid aging in the human body. Number one happens to be inflammation. Some people say, well, cardiovascular disease, the culprit is high cholesterol levels. But I tell you, even if there's circulating cholesterol in the bloodstream, which there always is, and it mixes with the platelets in the blood and forms this plaque, but it would never stick to the interior walls of your arteries without inflammation. So the number one cause of disease and rapid aging in the human body is inflammation. Our whole lifestyle produces that, even stress, but our diets, everything, inflammation. So dealing with inflammation, having your body have a healthy response to inflammation and stress is numero uno. And number two is free radical damage, the antioxidants. Just like a car engine, to produce energy, it produces waste, and you have to handle that waste or it damages the engine. And that's the same thing with free radicals. It's a very normal process. Energy is produced, and so are free radicals, and they're looking for electrons from other cells. If there are not antioxidants in the food to bind them, they will damage normal cells. And that damage, it has its impact in disease and aging. And the third, in the good old USFA, is malnutrition. So what I love about the Kyani Triangle of Health products, and I found them just as I was really hitting that wall of aging, about 64 years old, and saw myself with all of my research. I've even written a book on supplementation for health and high performance, and studied it since I was 25 years old, prided myself in my protocols for supplementation. But even at that, I knew I was declining. And then I started, out of a world-class runner, a friend of mine, recommended these products to me 13 years ago now. And I started taking them, and the energy that I had 10, 15 years before started a day or two later, just being present. And I was like, wow, what is going on here? The pain that I had in my knees for 10 years was gone in 4 days. The migraine headaches I had suffered with all my adult life, the end of that first month on the products were gone. I started reading the research, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's more real research behind these products than anything I'd seen in supplementation, natural food-based supplementation, over my lifetime. And I've never looked back. But they are very, very powerful antioxidants, helping our bodies deal with a healthy response to inflammation. And they really promote overall health of the human body, the function of when we were younger. So cardiovascular health. And this is all measurable and backed by real science. And really more science and technology and formulation than I've ever seen in a natural food-based supplement. But it helps the immune system. We know that that's important today, keeping a strong immune system. Some people who get this coronavirus get horrifically sick. Others have no symptoms at all. What's the difference?
What is? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you think it's because they have learned how to balance their immune system and improve it in the past?
That's got to have something to do with it. And the truth is, nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows a lot.
There's something individualistic. I mean, I'm older. You would think I would be, the most at risk. But I've stayed strong. And, God bless us all that we do. it's really been, this is some people say, oh, this is a hoax or whatever. No, it's not. People are dying. It is a very aggressive virus, and it's lethal. Yeah. But some people stay strong in the face of it. And so that's my commitment. So you want to boost the immune system, you want to boost your cardiovascular function, and you want to produce brain function. And guess what? That runs the whole show in the human body. That's called The Secret to the Fountain of Youth. And I know Grandmaster wrote a book on the secrets of the Fountain of Youth. Right. Really, there are things we can do to age better and to stay stronger in this sick world. We want to stay well in a very sick world right now.
And it's interesting that you say that. Just because we may have added a few extra years to our lives doesn't mean that we have one foot in the grave. We can still build that immune system. And you just reminded me when Chrysula and her husband contacted us to learn about Tai Chi. And I just posted the video on our little interview 4 years ago. Chrysula, do you realize that was 8 years ago?
Oh my God.
8 years ago. And I want you to share with our viewing audience today on what it was that Robbie said after listening to Master Kelly about slowing. I'm going to let you say it.
So my husband, right, he had he had a quadruple bypass in October. So this was in December. They had a workshop and Tai Chi, the soft form. And my husband is like, oh, well, honey, why don't you go and learn and then you can teach me? And I'm like, of course, no man loves his wife to tell him everything what to do. So I'm like, no. You come with me. And so anyways, we were there, and the one thing that sparked his interest was slowing the aging process. So when Master Kelly said, you're going to be slowing the aging process, that was it. And guess what? We've been doing it maybe 5-6 times a week since how long? 8 years
8 years.
now?
That video was 2016.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
So very, very happy, and absolutely. And you know what? It just keeps getting better and better. I mean, right now with the products and everything that we're trying, wait till I tell you. So I'll wait.
Well, building the immune system is so key, especially right now. Little did we ever realize, though, how the Tai Chi and the Qigong and the relaxing music and the exercises that we do, that we were going to really do even more nowadays, because it does give you that sense of calm, that sense of peace. But then when you come from the inside as well,
absolutely,
and add what we need to combat those free radicals, I mean, you can't help but help yourself by making decisions to live a better quality of life. And we're not here to diagnose or make any claims to cure or treat disease or anything like that whatsoever. We're here as normal individuals, just like you that are watching the show today, to give you a chance of what we've done. And believe me, if you've ever watched any of our shows, you know we research the researchers. We want to know the science behind it. And when we have a wonderful sponsor like Mary Louise Zeller, who can talk till the cows come home on so many different things, and yet she's humble enough to know that she's still learning, just like my husband. He says the same thing. So I want to go ahead and bring Master Kelly and say, what do you think about our lifestyle today? I don't think we could be any happier or healthier right now, right?
That's so true. And they say that if you can keep the immune system that of a 25-year-old, you could live forever. And so it's put quite eloquently with Mary Louise that you have to really do something that's constructive and not just the same old thing that we've been doing for years. You know what it is if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect change, that's insanity.
That's
and
right.
if you want to create more free radicals, there's a good way. Get stressed. Don't handle stress. And the key, and my research has been a lot, just everyone at this table, you're very knowledgeable as to health and fitness. But everybody will admit this one key factor is you have to learn how to handle stress. Stress does not come from the outside. Stress comes from the inside. That's your reaction too. When your reaction to stress does not meet up with your expectation, and you fail to manage the results, then that's stress. If the situation is not handled, you want to learn how to be successful in business and your love life or whatever, is learn how to be a stress master. There are so many books written. We have a lot of the answers. We're still learning every day. But the key is becoming that stress master. One last point, and I'll move on with the subject. But one of the things that I got from a woman, The High Performance Mind by Anna Weiss. A high performance mind is one that at will can reach that state of consciousness that is most desirable and beneficial on every given thing. So it's being able to be that stress master. Wouldn't it be wonderful to call upon whatever stress master you want, whatever situation you can use to get rid of stress? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to, no matter what situation happens, you have a particular emotion to handle that?
Mm-hmm. And that's what we've learned to do through HeartMath Institute, and you are truly a master at that.
Absolutely.
I mean, nothing rattles my husband's cage, ever, 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 and I live with him 24/7, and especially when he has to live with me sometimes, right?
I'm not going to go there.
No, but I did. It's okay. I mean, you know what? I'm working on it still every single day, and I learned from my grandson, believe it or not. Yes. And that is,
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes these kids are just so magical. They can teach us so much. They really can. And I think in today's world, learning to come from love is a big, big thing to help us balance ourselves. And it certainly can't hurt to take some supplements that we have done the research and we've looked into them, tested them. We always do that. And since we've been taking the Kyani, not only has it helped us with clarity, but so many other things, just feeling good. In the times of a pandemic, can somebody explain that to me? I mean, really and truly, in the times that we are going through, don't turn on the news, listen to politics and all the craziness going on out there, but come from within. And that's the one thing that in Mary Louise's inspirational video that we've been opening the show with every single week now for about 5 or 6 weeks, it talks about how she had to go from within. And today, when I talk to people and they want to get some coaching tips here and there, it's all coming from within, and how to deal with what we're dealing with, locked down in our homes, can't go here, can't go there, and when we do, we have all these restrictions. This has never, ever, ever happened before. So you better bet that with my husband and I have taken, you name it, we've taken really good products in the past, and we thought that we had taken them all until we were introduced to this Kyani. Because of the science and the integrity of the company, we are just blown away. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over back to Mary Louise, because we were talking about the antioxidants, the free radicals, but there's something else that I think not enough people are familiar with, is nitric oxide and how that really can affect us in, I want to say magical ways, but I probably need to say in safe ways and in unexpected ways. And then I want everybody to talk about how that has helped them with these Kyani products. I'm going to start with you, Mary Louise, because you are the queen of these products that brought them to us.
Well, I thank you, Barbara, for all of your accolades. I'll probably get the big head after this. I mean, I'm the queen of this and know all of that. I do, I have read a lot over the last 13 years working with this company about nitric oxide. And that is a life-changing product. As a biologist, I was a research biologist, did cancer diagnosis and research for about 25 years. But with my sports background, I'm also a 6th-degree black belt master instructor in Olympic sport, Taekwondo, and I competed for 25 years and, was top of my game. I won U.S. national gold in my division 20 years running. I was a 9-time world champion. So needless to say, I was the oldest living competitor in those days, and I was always looking for whatever supplementation, natural supplementation that would support my body in staying strong and being able to compete twice the age of the normal competitor. So I found out about nitric oxide. Now, there's an L-arginine preparation. I'll call it the first generation of nitric oxide. Well, first of all, let's go. What is nitric oxide? Molecule of life, says Columbia University. It's one part oxygen, one part nitrogen. Now, the Earth is a nitrogen-oxygen planet. And most people know that oxygen is necessary for life, but you can live a couple of minutes without oxygen, but you can't live a couple of seconds without nitric oxide. And it is responsible for all cell communication. It's a neurotransmitter. It's basically put a vasodilator, so it's fundamental to cardiovascular health, circulation, oxygenation of every cell and system in your body. So the cell communication, well, that's how our bodies operate as a unified organism. Every thought in your brain only happens in the presence of nitric oxide. Well, as we age, our natural production of nitric oxide goes down 10 to 15% every decade of life after the age of 25. Well, that's why, and there was a Nobel Prize given in 1998 about the importance of nitric oxide to cardiovascular health and function. So that's why older people have more cardiovascular disease and older people have more brain dysfunction, dementia, Alzheimer's, even the senior moments, the loss of memory and things like that. Well, that's not happening with me. Now, you could say, well, I'm an extraordinary person, but I don't think so. I think I'm an ordinary person, taking extraordinary action. And the Kyane products, now we talk about L-arginine. It's an amino acid. Have they proven that it raises nitric oxide levels in the body? Yes, but there were problems with it. First of all, it was expensive, and you had to take so much of it, it would often cause distress on the lower tract and skin rashes, but it had problems too with a certain small percent that it could stimulate a herpes virus. And if that, I actually had a world-class athlete went to the hospital and almost died with herpes virus meningitis that was on that supplement, and I stopped using that supplement. Did I use it as an athlete? You bet. Because you could measure the difference. Nitric oxide is going to help muscle function, endurance, strength, speed. Well, that's what athletes are after, and it's not a stimulant. So now, getting your body to produce this nitric oxide. Well, there's another plant pathway, plant nitrate pathway, and that is totally safe, and I'm calling it a second generation of nitric oxide precursors. So fundamental to cardiovascular health. So for me, I've never said a supplement is literally causing a breakthrough in human health. And I really mean that with all responsibility to science, that if you can strengthen your immune system, if you can strengthen cardiovascular function and health, and you can strengthen brain function and health, that's the fountain of youth.
Absolutely.
That is staying strong. And I don't know about you, but I'm declining to decline. So Do I think mindset is important? Do I think exercise is important? Absolutely. Good diet, absolutely fundamental. No abuse to the body, yes, fundamental to staying well and aging well. But nitric oxide, there have been hundreds of thousands of studies done on this. And nitric oxide helps protect us in all kinds of ways in function. So, Columbia University did a study, and they just literally said it's the molecule of life. And this second generation pathway, the Kyane Nitro Extreme, no known side effects. They've not even had any allergies or anything, and it's a plant-based. So these plant extracts, and they're very powerful concentrated extracts. You just take these drops, 20 drops, hold them in your mouth. It mixes with the bacteria in your mouth, starts producing nitric oxide immediately, then passes down into the stomach, and in that acid environment of the stomach is producing nitric oxide, and literally recycles itself, to put it simply. And it's producing nitric oxide in your body, higher levels, measured by science, absolutely producing nitric oxide. So I stay strong in the face of, what we're all facing. And I say, and that you can actually measure this increased performance with, I can take a dumbbell, do bicep curls, 20 pounds. I could do 10 reps to failure, struggling on the last 2. And I take my Nitro Extreme, wait 15 minutes, and I can literally double that. So we have world-class athletes now that are using this nitric oxide precursor product of Kyani's. And, it's just been proven to produce this high performance without any side effects or any stimulants. There's nothing in it that's banned for athletes. So it's totally safe product.
I'm glad that you mentioned that about the athletes with the NSF certification, so
Yes.
that athletes can perform
Absolutely.
and use this. And that's where I know you have some more points to make, and then I know Chrysula's chomping at the bit to talk about what's been going on with her and her husband. So go ahead, Mary Louise. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's pretty much the story on nitric oxide, that we have a second generation of nitric oxide precursors. They are totally safe. They work. They're powerful. The second generation would raise nitric oxide levels, maybe 100 times more than
Wow.
anything previously.
Wow.
So it's totally safe and really works for high performance. And I mean more than high performance athletes. I mean, we have high performance moms. They've got the kids home all the time. It's a whole new world out there. High performance executives with lots of demands of family on them now. And so everybody is looking for high performance, but also health. And nitric oxide not only increases performance, but it is the foundation of health at the cell level in the human body.
And that is so well said. Chrysula, I want you to share, you have been doing triathlons for a while now, haven't you?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you're in training as we speak.
Correct.
So I want you to share with everyone how that's been affecting you, and then talk about Robbie, your husband, because it's pretty phenomenal in a very short amount of time.
Oh my gosh, this has been actually amazing for me. Actually amazing for my husband and for our relationship. So what has happened with my husband is my husband uses it for changing the aging process, right? And I use it for endurance, and I do the athletic part out of it. Well, the most amazing thing, I just have to tell you. So when we got the product, right? I had an appointment, a dentist appointment, so I'm like, I'm so excited to get it to begin with. So I gave him like 20 drops of FX, and I even gave him the Sunrise, because I'm like, what the heck, More power to him, right? So I go on to my dentist appointment, and once I was done, I called him, and I said, hey, honey, how you doing? And he's like, well, I'm reading the newspaper. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I'm reading the newspaper. I'm like, oh, okay. I was so mystified, because for months he quit reading the newspaper. My husband has hearing problems, and because he didn't get his hearing aids immediately once he started losing his hearing, what happened is during that time, during that whole, I don't know how many, 10 years, 15 years or so, he started losing words, right? And he started losing meanings to words. So he quit reading the newspaper a few months ago. So when he sat there and says, hey, I was reading the newspaper, like I said, it threw me back. I get home, and he was happy. He was just excited that he was able to do that. So I let that go. The next day, I was didn't really want to say much to him. He read again. Well, the other day I was out doing a swim in the morning. I do a swim around 7, and I had to do a few other things. So I got home around 9:30 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't had, made breakfast for my husband or anything, and I hope he's okay. So I go upstairs, and I'm like, oh, honey, what would you like for breakfast? And he looks at me, and he goes, I made my own breakfast. Oh my goodness. Mary Louise, you have no idea. My husband is actually coming back. He's understanding me. He's able to read. His cognition, everything, it's coming back. and that's bringing my husband back. So thank you very much, and I have so much to say, but I'll give it back to Barbara.
And this was how long you just started this?
Yeah, it's amazing, and like I said, we do it for two separate reasons, right? But I love what it's doing to him. How it's allowing him to process things, right? The anger is going down because now he can process. So now he's starting to hear because he has his hearing aids, right? And with that nitric oxide is allowing to clear, and he's able to connect the dots. So you're bringing my husband back.
That's so wonderful. I loved it. Doesn't that do your heart good, Mary Louise? Look at how
I'm like near tears, and I hadn't talked to Grandmaster in many, many years, and I was so sad to see him a couple of months ago.
Yes.
And to tell you the truth, Barbara, I thought he wasn't long for this work.
Mary Louise,
he could hardly talk.
I was
so
concerned
weak.
too.
Now he's gained weight. He's vital again.
Yeah.
So. Chrysula, what you're talking about is your husband is coming back to life. Well, I've watched it in Grandmaster.
That's right.
And, I've had the blessing of being on these products for, more than a decade, and I simply haven't declined. But I'm watching people start even much older.
Yes.
And, they are literally being revitalized. And yes, this is much more than any kind of business. And the business has been very, very good to me too. And I didn't know my husband was going to pass away, and I don't know where I would have been without the business. And it's created a global community for me, and now I'm getting to be with you guys every day and support you in your lives. Yeah, significance, making a difference.
It is.
I think that's the best of life, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
I think that's our purpose is to make a difference. And Mary Louise, talk about bringing my husband back too. You've got two husbands that are
my
back
goodness,
already
yes.
in such a short amount of time. And just to let our audience know, we're on calls every single day from Monday through Friday. Then, of course, we have our webinars on Tuesday evenings and Thursday evenings. And then we even do an exercise class on Saturdays, whether it's Tai Chi, whether it's your exercise class, Mary Louise. We did salsa. Well, we tried to do salsa, and we're salsa dancers. But boy, it was kind of fun for us. But I say about the hours that we do every day at 4 o'clock Eastern time, you have truly had a chance to watch my husband improve in everything. And when you see your husband, we'll be married 20 years this October, and it's a scary feeling to think that they can't process words and their brain could be declining. But with the nitric oxide, the sunrise, and the sunset, just those 3 products alone, it made a difference in all of us. And I just can't get over how much it makes a difference for us quickly, even though individual results will vary from one person to the next. But when you study these products, it doesn't take much to understand how they may help the human body
Absolutely.
to improve in so many areas. Now, I forgot to mention the Fountain of Youth exercises that my husband has done, and he has a little announcement to make. Didn't you finally hit your 21? This week?
Yeah, what has happened over the period of the years with, and I hate to even give it any credit, Parkinson's disease, it made everything twice as hard. If I went to the gym to get the same results as I did before, I'd have to work twice or 3 times as hard to get the results. And of course, being the way I think, there was no exception. I would have to do that. That was my life. But there was something missing. I like to compare it to my drag. I used to be in drag racing. And I had a 500 horsepower car that was right at the strip. And the more horsepower I put in the car, unfortunately, the slower it got at one time. Because of the fact that I did not raise my fuel level. So here I spent all this money on an engine that goes very fast, and I can't understand why it's not improving. And one of the fellows that's very knowledgeable at the drag strip said, well, are you using high octane gas, the 105 octane? I said, no, I'm using the regular gas. He says, well, what do you expect? So I changed and used the high octane. Wingo, bango, it went a lot faster, and it didn't. So anyway, it's just like your body. You know, you can go exercise all you want, you can run all you want, but if you don't exercise your emotions and control those, taking the right supplements, the 22 superfoods that our company does, and does it delightfully because everybody takes it, is going to really get a great natural high. So anyway, that's my story.
And that was with Black Magic, right?
Yeah, the car had quite a name for itself. It was fast, very fast. Especially when I put the 105 octane in it.
Wow.
And that must have been when I went to take off and the car took off with me, right?
She drove it one time. It scared the daylights out of her.
That was
Oh my
scary.
gosh.
I had all these young guys trying to pick me up. I thought, that's the last time I'm driving
They
this.
couldn't catch her.
Exactly. But you know what? Comparing that to the human body is very similar. Because, I mean, my husband is a certified sport nutritionist, a fitness trainer. He studies. If you were to come to our humble villa, you would find walls of books, of research, because we always want to stay on the cutting edge. And then after the diagnosis with Parkinson's, you think my husband was going to let that get him down? No way. That's why we continue to do the research. And when we did that with Mary Louise and the Kayani people at Kayani, the integrity of the company, there are thousands and thousands of research papers that you can read. PubMed, isn't it, Mary Louise, is one on
for public medicine, PUBMED for public medicine, so pubmed.gov.
Thank you for that, because that way people can do their own research. In fact, just FYI, Mary Louise, you know, I've been talking to a clinician. She is a dietitian. I'm not giving her any names, but let me tell you, she was really asking me a lot of the questions so that she could talk about the pathways to the brain. And thank you for sending me all of that within seconds. I had that over to her right away, and I just heard from her before the show, and she said, thanks for that information. I'm going through one by one, and it looks like it's just what she was looking for. So I know that it takes time. Taking care of ourselves is really kind of like a full-time job. And that being said, isn't it worth it if we can get down on the floor and play with our grandkids or our children and really live the best life that we possibly can, so that we don't end up in a nursing home, so that we can remain with our family? If you could just imagine that, if you're not living your best life right now, it's there. All you have to do is reach out for it. It's right in front of your nose. And just learning from the people that have that background, that can share that, like Mary Louise, and the testimonials that we give to you are for real. I noticed a difference in the first and second week with just having a better sense of well-being and waking up just feeling happy. And because of that, going through the system and the nitric oxide opening up the system, you just feel like you're ready to take on anything and set the world on fire. And that's what we intend to do here with this platform on WeBeam TV, to get the word out. It's the best way that I personally know how to do it, and so we're doing it right now. And if you can push our shows out into social media, you'd like to try these products, go to immuneboosters2020.com and take your time, do your research, and give us a call. Contact any one of us. We'll be happy to help you with that. That's immuneboosters2020.com, and you can see how to take the 3 products in a day. And we also have the skincare called Fluoresce, and oh, let me tell you, that product is something else. Here's your nitric oxide. Every product is ease of use, and that's what I think we're looking for when it comes to taking products. How many have you ever tried, like, kits of products? And you can't even keep track of it. And if you're trying to get the kids out the door to school and making lunches and all of that, and just getting ready for your own job, if you're not working at home, that is, there's a lot of time involved. And time is our most valuable commodity. We want to spend it having more fun than trying to track down how many of you had a tray of vitamins? Mary Louise, Chrysula, Kelly,
Oh my
we've
gosh.
all had the tray of vitamins.
Lazy Susan,
Yes!
taken by the
Spin 'em
handful.
around.
Kyani, Barbara, has simplified, taken the mystery out of supplementation. I get more results out of that trio of products. Those three they call the triangle of health is literally wellness simplified.
Yes.
I get more real results out of those three products than I did out of that Lazy Susan full of 40, 50 different products that I was spending a small fortune on.
And you know, if you add up all of the things that you have to have, like how many superfoods are we talking about that we would have to eat? And there's probably not even enough room in our refrigerator storage space.
Yeah.
The Kyani Sunrise is a 1 ounce packet. So it's not a juice. It's 22 superfoods. They literally search the world for, I mean, we've heard of acai, mangosteen, and then even from India, amla berry, maki berry, and but the number one ingredient is the wild Alaskan blueberry that they determined is the strongest antioxidant food ever tested. And so they say that it would be the equivalence. This is so concentrated, these extracts, that it's like the equivalence of 25 pounds of food. And we all know we couldn't eat that quantity, neither could we afford to buy it. And this is really, I mean, this is like 25% of the cost of a coffee. So, it's very, very reasonably priced, and it is the strongest Kyani Sunrise is the strongest superfood that I've ever taken in my life, and it really keeps energy all day long at a constant level, not like a stimulant. There are no stimulants in any of our products, and it just keeps your energy up, not that kind of, stimulated caffeine kind of energy where you're really rather agitated. For me, caffeine can do that to me. It makes me feel irritable. And this is just really, like you said, feeling really, really good, strong. And the Kyani Sunset, you talk about hero products. Well, I think our products are hero products, but the two, for me, that, like I say, are just fundamental to a breakthrough in human health and well-being, and that would be the Sunset and the Nitro. Do we need superfood nutrition? Absolutely, and this is the best money could buy. But the Sunset, we need the omega-3s, and this is from, safe, wild-caught fish in Alaska, some of the coldest, purest water left on Earth, no heavy metal contaminants, which would be represented in fat cells if they were in the water, and most of the oceans of the world are polluted with cadmium, mercury, PCB, lead, all of which cause cancer. But these are pure and potent omega-3s from wild-caught fish in Alaska. But what makes it, that would be really leading-edge nutrition, top money could buy. Do we need that omega-3? Sure we do. We are a water and fat-soluble body. And so we need to take care of it. And in the Sunset, we have our fat-soluble vitamins. In the Sunrise, we have all the water-soluble vitamins. So there's more than 100% of the minimum daily requirement of just the nutrition we need for the body to operate at a high level. You talk about the immune system. There's 3,000% of B12, which supports the immune system, in that one packet of Sunrise. But the Sunset, what makes it a hero breakthrough product are the delta tocotrienols, which are nothing but a fraction of vitamin E. The tocotrienols were discovered about 30 years after the tocopherols. And what they've discovered about the tocotrienols is that it is fundamental to cardiovascular health. They help your body have healthy levels of cholesterol. They help your body have a healthy blood pressure. They help protect your cells at the cell level from radiation in the environment. We're never going to escape radiation in the environment. It's in the world. But we can help prevent damage at the cell level. And that's what delta tocotrienols do also. They also interfere in the way in which cancerous tumors grow. That's important. So if it could interfere with the way in which a tumor grows, might help your body stay healthy in the face of the risk that cancer is in the world today. We're not saying, like Barbara says, curing, preventing, treating any kind of disease. Well, we're producing is a healthy function in the body,
Absolutely.
which keeps us well.
Absolutely.
And keeps us performing at very high levels. So that Kyani sunset, that many people report increased mood. I used to get very irritable in the face of stress. And I think most of us do. You know, the more coming at us, we're like, well, you know, why isn't this working? And, you know, and that happened to me. A lot of people have trouble with sleep. A lot of people have problems with depression. And boy, in today's world, they're talking about really increased levels of depression. Well, the tocotrienols help lift mood. And I'm just staying strong in the face of all the stress and everything going on. And, you know, a lot of people we talked about my life being shattered by my son's accident. And what do you have to do is, like a phoenix, pull yourself up out of the ashes. We need to reinvent ourselves. A lot of people have been shattered. I mean, they're in fear of losing their homes again. We saw that in 2008, and this is much worse, and we really can't even fathom the impact this is having on our economy because it's never happened in the world before. So we're literally having to reinvent ourselves. And what I love about Kyani and what we're doing is that we're doing it together as a community. That's one of the really good things that have come from this pandemic. Families are getting closer.
Absolutely.
And neighborhoods. I mean, in my neighborhood, people are out visiting each other. That hasn't ever happened in my lifetime since I was a little girl. And, you know, and that's happening in business too. And most people are never going to really do anything extraordinary. I mean, I wouldn't have done anything in my sport had I not had a great coach committed to my success, committed to my greatness, like Grandmaster says, that there's greatness in each and every one of us. And, you know, it depends on the environment in which we're working and taking on something that makes a difference. So for me, these products make a difference, but you know what? We're marketing these around the world, and we're able to work from our home on the internet 100%. And we are helping people all over the world really have a new source of income from the safety of their homes. And we're teaching them, and we've got the most amazing community of support. We call ourselves Legacy Team. And Kyani, we're out to build a legacy and leave a legacy. So, you know, I'm just thrilled, and it brings us all together. I'm having so much fun working with you and Grandmaster again, and meeting Chrysula, and hopefully I'll meet your new nutritionist friend, and we're going to make a difference together.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
We are.
absolutely.
That's what Kyani's giving us all.
Absolutely.
Health and hope.
That's right. Health and hope. You have that for certain. Chrysula, tell us how the nitro has been helping you with your training.
Okay, so I had my coach. I offered to give her a bottle of the nitro. It comes in a little bottle. And I said, okay, let's do this together. But she had to leave town, and I was just way too excited. So what I did is we have a course in Tarpon that we do at Tarpon Try, and I'm used to doing the course. I've been doing it for 4 years at least, and I know how my heart rate, I know how I feel when I'm done. So I can pretty much tell where I'm at, right, how I felt that day. So what I did was I did the nitric oxide, and I did drops before and throughout. When I got home, I ran upstairs and I looked at my husband, and I looked at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart rate is normal. And I'm ready to do another one right now. I mean, it just gave me that energy and that feeling like, yeah, I can do it. And like you said, Mary Louise, I love that it doesn't get you that craziness buzz, you know, like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. It's so natural that unless you're overexerting yourself or you know where your limit is, you really can't tell. You know, you can't tell physically because you're feeling great the whole day. You don't have a downer moment. You're kind of like you know, what is it? You're dancing throughout the whole day. Just, you know, it's great. It's I can't say enough of how I feel on it and what it's done and what I see it do to my body, to my mental health, and, you know, to the overall feel of it. So thank you.
Yeah, this is the perfect way that we feel that we are staying grounded, we're staying faithful, we don't give up.
Right.
And if anyone was going to give up in a time that is really crazy worldwide, it's right now, and some people have given up. And so we don't want you to give up. That's why we're here talking about this. And yes, it's been a long series for about 6 weeks now on Lives Rebuilt, but that's basically what we're doing because we lost all of our Tai Chi classes. Chrysula, I mean, you know, teaching Tai Chi
Oh my
out
goodness.
at different facilities, everything was shut down. But if you choose to be a survivor, you will survive in more ways than one through a mind, body, spirit. And I know my husband would probably like to share a little bit in this last 5 minutes. What would your closing thoughts be, my dear sweet husband?
Well, my closing thoughts are that if you take what we're talking about seriously and you want to make a change in your life, if you set goals that are positive goals, then the challenge is you got to make the change. Because of the fact is that if you don't make the change, it's going to be like insanity. If you keep doing the same thing, get the same results, that's insanity. So by focusing your life through your subconscious, conscious mind, in other words, thinking about it constantly as far as what the picture that you want to achieve, then this is the route to go. But if you don't do that, the challenge is you're not being able to give your friends, your relatives, your family, you're not able to give them an example. So once you improve your body and mind and your whole attitude, then the key thing is you got a responsibility because people are going to gravitate towards you. And it all starts with taking something that's healthy, that's something that makes you feel good. There's nothing that I know of this product that has any negative effect on the body whatsoever. I've been taking supplements ever since I can remember. I remember at 18 years of age, I was going door to door selling a health food called Nitro Bio. And so it started way back years ago. And I contribute this to be able to handle the Parkinson in the way I handle it. And the reason that I brag about it is because I want people to know that if you have a life-threatening disease like this, you don't have to, in other words, it's not a death sentence. It's a positive sentence, and you can still live a normal life if you just take the right food, do the right exercises, and hang around with the right people. That has a lot to do with it. If people are making fun of you, what you're doing,
Absolutely.
don't mess with those people. Just get away. You need a whole new group of friends. Believe me, and that's not easy.
There's a lot of truth to that, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
Go ahead.
anyway, what, did you want to say something there?
No.
So
You know,
anyway,
Barbara, I listened to Grandmaster, and I learned from Grandmaster Junri that there are people in the world who would enroll you into you can't. They would enroll you into negative conversations, negative possibilities. And he says, positive is always stronger. And he says, you just take a stand for hope, take a stand for making a difference, taking a stand for full engagement in life, taking a stand to create something of worth that can
Absolutely.
raise the quality of life for us all. And he says, you go out there and enroll people in a conversation of possibility, conversation for whole new futures, conversations for greatness. And that's who I'm going to hang out with.
That's right.
It's true. It is absolutely true. And we do that, like I say, every day at 4 o'clock. Chrysula's on the call. My husband's on the call. And we even had a champagne party
I
celebrating.
missed
And you missed it, Chrysula.
I missed it. I can't believe it. Mary Louise, this
That was
Friday.
so much fun. A Zoom champagne party. That was great. We were just
Oh, my
celebrating
gosh.
success for our group.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really a lot of fun. And you know, when you're doing business with people and you're feeling good, you want to celebrate. And we celebrate every day just when we wake up in the morning.
Absolutely.
And thank God for, guess what? I finally learned that passing the buck to God is really the way to do things, and it just works. Keeping your faith, staying grounded, and if you've been looking for the right perfect supplements and you're trying to combine, you're going into some of the local health food stores, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, But if you want to save and you want someone else to have done the research from science-based products, you need to give these a try. Do some of your own research. If you feel like you're having some mental breakdowns, and watch the news. They'll give you the statistics on some people with the mental health today, and it's trickling all the way down to our babies, our children. I feel so intense about them going back to school today and what they have to face as a child. And Mary Louise, in fact, we only have a minute remaining, but Mary Louise was giving me the recipes for children that can take the Kyane products. That's how safe they are. So think about it. If your future is uncertain on all kinds of different levels, if you're missing out on the energy that you need to have just to wake up in a day's time and get through the day, get through the morning, I know that can be tough. I've been there. We've all been there. So it's about making the right choices for you and your family by leading by example. And I hope that you'll go to immuneboosters2020.com. You can get all the information you need there. If you need Mary Louise, myself, my husband, Grisula, to help get you going.
Absolutely.
And get you up on that pedestal of health and wellness, and of course to be able to take products that are palatable, and you don't have to take a whole slew of them. We didn't even get to the other two products, the Fit 20 and the HL5, but you can read all about those on the website. I want to thank you all, and thank the whole crew here for giving us this platform to go worldwide. That's right, worldwide, with the love of health and wellness. Thanks, everyone.